This is Helping of Happiness, episode number 141. Today we are talking to photographer Bailey Makaimoku all about the important questions that we should be asking our family photographer before we hire them. Hi, I'm Hillary Hess, and you're listening to Helping of Happiness. I am a crazy mom of 7 kids who loves to build memories through eating delicious family recipes and going on adventures with my family. On this podcast, you'll be introduced to light-filled people and ideas that inspire me to be a better mom and help me bring family closer together and closer to Jesus Christ. Documenting family events through the years is so important to me. I love going back through photo albums and remembering those moments frozen in time through photographs like the ones where like my older kids are little babies and they fall asleep in the high chair and they've got the food smashed all over their face. Pictures like with grandparents that have passed on that you really miss or other family members. They're just so precious, right? So today we're talking to photographer Bailey Makaimoku about what questions we should be asking our family photographer before we hire them. So these are more when you're spending money for family photos, not necessarily just taking one with your camera. Because these family photos can be really expensive and often they can be really time consuming trying to get everything together and organized. So I thought this would be really helpful for us to talk to her so we can get to know how to navigate this a little bit better. But the biggest message that I really want for you to get out of this is the importance of family and the necessity of documenting it. The years are whizzing by, and capturing us and our families in these moments will bring joy in years to come, not only to us and our immediate family members, but for generations to come. So I think that family pictures are so, so important. And I hope that you're really going to enjoy listening to Bailey and all that she has to say. And if you don't have anything ready to book family pictures right now, that's totally fine. Just listen for future reference. And she even gives some great ideas of where we can get our photos printed, which I think is super helpful, even if we're taking pictures with our phone. So without further ado, here's Bailey. I am super pleased to have on today my new friend, Bailey Makaimoku. I'm super happy to have you on to talk to us all about photography because spring is coming on, and I feel like that's always such a fun time to start thinking about family pictures. Will you tell us a little bit about you and your family before we get started?
Absolutely. So I am Bailey Makaimoku. I'm married to my husband Keave. His family is originally from Hawaii. That's where our
Oh
crazy
my
last
gosh,
name
how
comes
fun.
from. We met up at school in Eastern Idaho, and got married and drove across country. We got married in California, drove across country literally a week following for him to start pharmacy school back east. We did school there for 2 years and then did the drive back for us to land in Utah for a little bit. We had our daughter Auden there while my husband was in the middle of pharmacy rotations. Auden is now 4. And then at 9 months, he actually applied and got a scholarship in Hawaii that took us there. We were done with school at that point, but the contract of the scholarship was for Native Hawaiians, and Hawaii really struggles actually to either have people go to college there or to get people to come back and work there for them that are Native Hawaiian. Typically, a lot of Hawaiians either just don't go to college or they go to the mainland and never come back. So this scholarship, the contract was we would go and live in Hawaii, and he would work as a pharmacist there for the equal amount of time that they basically paid for our schooling. So we were in Hawaii. We were on Oahu for a year and some while my husband did residency there. Um,
Wow.
so we were on Oahu, and then he worked with the VA hospital there and then got a job with them, but was on the Big Island. So we moved to the Big Island. We were there for about 3 years. My son Soren was born while we were there. And then, yeah, during all of this COVID and everything, our son has had some health complications and we were not able to really find services for him there. So once our scholarship contract was up, we looked for an opportunity somewhere else that would have better health care for him, and we have now landed in Bend, Oregon. So we have been here since August, and
Oh my goodness, you just got there.
we are
Wow.
embracing the cold. It snowed today, so we're
What a
just
big
we
change.
are, but my kids are loving it. It really is a lot of fun to experience everything kind of again for the first time for them. So they're adjusting really well, and we're really enjoying being here now, kind of back on the mainland, closer to family. So
Man, what a big culture shock to go from
yeah,
Hawaii to Oregon.
yes,
Wow. That is
yeah.
really cool. And by looking at your pictures, I think you were married in Oakland, is
I
that right?
was, yes.
Okay, so
So
were we.
I'm from the Bay Area originally. Yeah.
Okay, I'm originally from Reno,
Oh,
so
no way. Yeah.
yeah, we
Very
loved the
cool.
Oakland temples where we were married. We love that temple.
Yep. So pretty.
So fun. Oh, how fun. Okay, well, I want to hear all about this photography business, how it got started. Like, what's your story? What brought you into photography?
Okay, so I am one of those like kind of funny kids that like my dad always had a camera but sat and like did nothing with it. I was like, "Oh, let me check this out. Gadgets to touch, things to adjust." And I would like try to figure that out. In reality, I was like not doing anything with it. I couldn't really figure that out. But I had a little like point and shoot small camera, and I just loved the idea of being able to capture something. And I love to like I kind of became the designated friend when people wanted like a cool new Facebook profile or a MySpace, if that's going to age me, a
MySpace, right
MySpace
on.
profile picture. And anyways, like I finally got my own little DSLR camera, but still even then was really like only using it in auto, not understanding any real function of my camera. But when I was up in college, it was so fun to me to like go take little like roommate photo shoots with my roommates. I had a few friends who got engaged while I was in college, and I did a few of their engagement sessions. And um so I kind of like I dabbled in it, but it was really just it was a really fun outlet for me. I got my degree in something completely different. My degree's in recreation therapy. I don't know if you've even heard of that or know what that is, but
No,
it's
but I think it sounds
basically
amazing.
yeah, so it's basically just utilizing recreation as a form of therapy to help anyone with any type of special needs or impairments.
Mm.
So I took a lot of like camping classes and rock climbing classes and different kinds of rec classes. But then when we moved back east for pharmacy school, um, I was working in my degree and stuff, but it still was just, I mean, the special needs population is so great, but I was struggling so hard to find like no one knew what my degree was. It was like this obscure thing, and I was like, this is but I just did 4 years of this. Like, how do you not know what this is? And how it was really kind of only like it's just kind of starting to catch traction and stuff. So it was really hard for me to find a degree that I could get paid what I was worth and enjoy what I was doing,
Mhm.
versus just kind of feeling like I was a babysitter. And so, anyways, once my husband started his rotations for pharmacy school, that year of time, we moved every like 6 weeks to like 3 months. We moved all the time. And we had our daughter in Utah. That was the first spot that we landed. And I'm in a new state. I don't really know anyone. We were living with my family, but in the downstairs basement,
Mhm.
everyone was working. It was just me at home. And like I wouldn't say I am right now, but I was a big runner. I love stuff like rock climbing and outdoor activities, all these things, I was totally doing that in the summer when we got there. But then, like, once my daughter was born, I mean, we crept into winter and I just felt really isolated. And like all
Oh,
the things
yeah.
I used to do, I can't do anymore. Like, what can
It's
I
like you have to
possibly do?
redefine yourself, and it's really
Yes,
hard. And you have a
yes,
baby to worry about at the
yes.
same time.
Yes, and my daughter was such a fussy baby. It was a really hard
So,
it was
like
so
my first, same way.
oh,
So
it
hard.
was so hard, And I just thought I need an outlet. I need something to be able to do. I can't run right now because my delivery, I was still recovering from my delivery. And I just thought, what is something that I can do? Because then also my husband and I had talked, it was like, it's not going to be possible for me to work in the next year either with us moving so often. I'm not going to be able to try to work the way I was working at least.
Right.
And I just had this thought like, why don't you just try photography again? Like you have the stuff for it. Why don't you just actually try this? And it was literally just a little post I put out on Facebook like, "Hi, I'm this New Year's happening and I'm going to try something new for myself and I'm going to try doing photography more seriously. If that's something you would like from me, then like please let me know." And I can think of the two first little sessions that I did where I charged like $40 and took it out in the cold, cold of Utah, but they were so appreciative. And I just felt so honored that, people would, even at this point, like be happy to come to me to be able to take their pictures. And since then, I mean, I have moved my business from Utah to Idaho to Seattle to Hawaii and now to Bend. So it has been kind of a crazy journey, but um
Think of all the landscapes. I mean,
I
how exciting.
I know.
I'm just thinking, wow, if you're doing
We've
outdoor
we have
pictures,
lived in
you've
so
like
many
hit
beautiful
everything.
places. We
Oh,
really are so lucky. Yes, it is kind of the photographer's dream.
wow, that is incredible. I love that. Okay, so tell me, you're not only a photographer, but you have these really beautiful posts on your blog that I love. That's how I kind of been blog stalking you a little bit, but
I'm glad someone looks at it.
I love it. So tell me why it is so important to you to take family photos and document these different seasons of life.
Okay, so I honestly, we live in like such a time and age right now. Like you literally, you have a camera in your hand all the times through your phone. And I know perhaps maybe professional pictures aren't for everyone, but to me, even to be able to like look back through my camera roll a year ago, we were in a completely different
Oh,
place.
for sure.
My kids were in completely different stages. And just like our lifestyle, our environment, everything was completely different a year ago. Like
Especially
granted too, like
considering
COVID.
2020 is what it
Yes,
was, right? Like
absolutely.
everyone's lives
Absolutely.
have changed this year. Yeah.
Absolutely. And as a mom, like I just understand now how fast time truly passes, even though you can be in a moment where it feels like you will never get
For
through.
sure.
The child will never sleep, the whatever it
I'll
is will
never
never
sleep
pass.
again.
Yes. But even just thinking back to like my daughter, for instance, just at a few months old, and like I said, she was such a fussy baby and we had such a hard time getting sleep with her. But on the occasion that we got a smile out of her and it was captured on camera, to be able to like look back, like it just like melts away all of the hard. It's like, okay, like, do you remember? Do you remember her being this little? Do you remember how soft her hair was? Do you remember how tiny her hands were? Um, and I mean, I look back at pictures too of like my son, for instance. My son now looks so different from how he did even as a baby at 6 months. His hair is a different color, his eyes have changed, and he was so chunky. And he is like he is so tall and lanky now. Like I'm like, you would never look at him and know that he was this chunky little baby. But I just to be able to look back at those pictures, it just means so much to me because it shows me the growth and the change, and to be able to like have that for posterity and to be able to look back. um Life is just always progressing and tomorrow's never promised, and I feel like pictures also, I don't want to go morbid on it at all, but
But
to think of grandparents that have passed or a
mhm.
sudden passing of a loved one that was unexpected, and to be able to have those pictures of them is really, honestly, like sometimes all you have left. And it would be really sad to me to think that if I was to pass, my kids don't if my kids had no pictures of me, like how would they be able to remember my features or be able to remember what mom looked like or what she liked to do or where she was at this moment? It really can just take you back to an exact memory. I can look at pictures and I can think, I know exactly where we took those. And I can remember exactly how the features of my child at that time and what they were doing or that season of our life. Um, and yeah, I just don't think we're kind of always in this mentality of just go, go, go. And we have to be moving forward and we have to be, but to be able to just capture a moment in time and freeze it and to be able to, especially as a family photographer, I understand, right? Like to me, I want to be able to capture your kids. I want to be able to capture them accurately. If
Mhm.
that means they're going to be playing with giant sticks and they're going to be running on rocks and they're going to be trying to play in water, like that is totally the season. Like kids are not, not many kids are,
They're not
you're not gonna
stationary, right?
not gonna go to a beach in Hawaii for a family session and your kid's not gonna want to get in the water.
Mhm.
So it's just, I like capturing the lifestyle and reality of how motherhood really is because it is a beautiful and stressful and super hard but wonderful thing. And to be able to just capture it often and capture it accurate in that moment to each family is like really special. So
I love that. So your little telling that capturing them in those moments reminded me of a family picture that we have. One of my sons, who is now 12, so he's not doing this anymore, but when he was like 2 and 3, he would just have his hands in my hair like all day. He would just come next to me and just be twirling it and just like he like some kids have a blankie or something. He
yeah.
was obsessed with my hair, and it was, kind of obnoxious at the time, but I would just let him do it because he loved it. And so in those family pictures, there he is, like, twirling my hair in the pictures, and we were just looking back at him last week, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, mom, look, I'm touching your hair," and I'm like, "I know, isn't it perfect?" It totally captured who he was in that moment, and that was just his, like, thing that he did. But
Yes.
it's so fun because that's not something that we ever really think about in day-to-day life with
No.
him anymore. Because
No.
years he's they definitely not sitting next to me as a 12-year-old boy twirling my hair anymore, so, anyway, but I love how you said that, I love capturing that in time and especially our loved ones. It's my grandmother's birthday today, and she passed away 10 years ago,
No.
but those pictures of her are just so precious to us. I love those. I love the ones of her holding and snuggling my kids that were babies at the time that don't remember her. Because then it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, look, you did have this connection. Look how happy she was that you were in our family," you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah.
anyway, I love that. Okay, so let's you have that blog post that I really like that is all about important questions that we should ask our family photographer before hiring them, which I never really ever thought about asking before. So, can you kind of take me? I mean, I think of that maybe more for a wedding photographer,
Mhm.
because that is just like a whole
That is a big deal.
crazy thing, right? But, like, as far as a family photographer, can you kinda take me through that post that you wrote or any other little
Sure.
things that you might wanna add in there and kinda
Yes.
get us thinking about these things?
Yeah, so I wrote this obviously with the intention of I don't like at least I think because I am a photographer, these are things I just naturally think of.
Of
I'm like,
course.
okay, I need to be looking for this and this and this when I want to hire someone because
Mhm.
obviously my standard of what I expect is maybe a little higher than everyone else's. But I mean, I sometimes I just can't believe how many people just pick some rando, and I'm like, okay, like does this person have a website? Have they like how long have they like been doing this? Is this just convenient for you? Like, and I understand absolutely. People have budgets and people perhaps too like getting pictures like annually or however often, like everybody has like their timeline of how
Mhm.
often they like to get them done, and people typically do have a budget when they want to get them done. um, so but when I wrote it too, it was like, you know, it's not always just about the cost of a photographer because you want to have a good experience with them. And probably you would hope if you had a good experience with them, you want to return to them.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yes, I wrote that post hoping that before you like just are ready to throw a bunch of money at someone, that you make sure I asked like, okay, like kind of what are their qualifications? You don't have to ask a photographer, what are your qualifications? But I think it's totally valid to just sit or their website will often say like how long they've been doing it or kind of you can tell from their work too
Oh,
that
it's
it
so
qualifies.
nice to be able to look at their work. I think
Yes.
that's huge. Because what if
Yeah.
you don't like how it comes back?
No, you want to
Yeah.
make sure you're picking someone that you like the way that they edit and that
Mhm.
they
'Cause editing is
that
such a huge part of it, yeah.
yeah. And some other things like I threw out in there, I want to make sure like families know how I'm going to interact with their kids. And that really honestly, like how I'm going to handle their kids at a session, and that there's very little that phases me that kids do. Um, so that, like kind
And
of what
that's
they can
huge,
expect
especially
from
if you have, like, a huge group with lots of like, I'm thinking, like, those extended family pictures and there's
yeah,
tons of kids. That
yes.
can really overwhelm some photographers.
I love that kind of stuff.
Perfect.
I
Now you
am
need
like,
to move to
let's embrace.
Texas. Just
There
kidding.
you go. Like, let's embrace the chaos. Not, yeah. I've done a lot of extended family, and it is so fun. It's so fun too to watch interactions of like a grandparent with their grandkids, or aunt and uncles with nieces and nephews, and cousins together. Um, that's all like just so fun.
Maybe we need
I
to have a family reunion in Bend. Maybe that's what we need to do.
Sun River. That's the place everyone goes. Yes. And some other things too I brought up, like if you have like a strict deadline, like you're getting these pictures last minute, like if you're like, oh gosh, I need my Christmas card, but I haven't booked a photographer yet, like you probably do want to ask because everyone else might be in the same boat as you. Like, how long? Because some photographers take a good amount of time to get your stuff back
Mhm,
because they're really intricate about the editing process.
mhm,
Others outsource their editing so they can get it
mhm,
back to you lickety split. And then other things I put in there that I think is important, like, do you expect your photographer to find the location, or do you want to have to figure that out? Or especially outfits too. Outfits I feel like can almost be the most overwhelming part. What is everyone going to wear, and how's it all going to look together? Is it going to match with the location we have picked out? Um, I want my clients to know I'm basically there to do everything for them. And I will send all the help that they need and all of the advice that they need for them to be able to come and feel ready to do it. And then once we're there in person, I am 100% taking over and I will guide everything and make it run as smoothly as it can. So,
So, you mentioned outfits. Can I ask a quick like, is
absolutely.
there outfits that, like, you just are absolutely not gonna work, or is there a way to work around everything? What do you think?
Okay. I feel like if we were in the 90s, it was so matchy. I'm sure, like, what do we
Everyone
all have?
wear your denim shirt or
Double
your white
denim.
shirt
Yes.
and the pants, yes.
Yes, everybody's got a family photo like that, and they're all laying on the ground on top of one another or
Oh,
something.
for
It
sure.
was taken at J.C. Penney's, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
We all
but
had different colored Lands' End sweaters for one of our family pictures with jeans.
or
Oh,
the
yeah.
Old Navy with the
And
flag on
turtlenecks
it for
underneath.
4th of July.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, yes. Now, and that, I mean, that was totally a style. But I feel like now to me, it is most aesthetically pleasing to not be matchy matchy. You want things to coordinate. So that's not putting everyone in khakis and a white shirt. That's putting, that's having like a color palette and having similar tones throughout. And I also actually I am not like a totally, if you go through my Instagram, you'll see that a lot of my clients come with a lot of patterns or textures, and that doesn't scare me at all. As long as it's not everybody's got a checkered shirt or everybody, if it's just one or two individuals that has something like that, it is so cute. I recently just did a session actually in the mountains in the snow with two little kids and their parents, and it was just I haven't blogged it yet, but it is their outfits were adorable. If you can just think of, there's just so many opportunities with accessories and these cute things of cute fuzzy bonnets now, or cute little beanies and tights and um, fun hats and mittens and all this stuff. It can all go well and not be too much. But I would stay far away from like neon colors, from anything with like big logos on it. It's just really distracting to the eye. And it can, especially neon colors too. I'm just thinking, I
It can
learned that
throw
lesson
off
quick.
all of your tones.
It throws off your tones and it can throw off your skin tones. And I can just think of early on in my photography career in Hawaii with,
Oh, for
everybody's
sure.
like, oh, we're taking pictures by the beach. We're all going to wear like these bright pink whatevers, and we're all gonna be in like linens and white. And you can totally start to blend into a background. I have done plenty of pictures too where everyone's like, oh, we picked blue as our color, and I'm like, we're taking pictures at the ocean in the sky.
I
Okay.
learned that the wrong way with my son's rash guard because I thought, okay, I'm going to get him this bright blue because at the store it stood out,
Yeah.
and then we get to the pool and I'm like, he's invisible. I can't see him at all. This is a horrible idea.
Yep, it'll be a bunch of floating heads. Yep. So those are my, yeah, definitely. And I always say mom needs to pick her outfit first. I think usually when moms are planning, they're probably the most stressed out. And it is most important for mom to feel comfortable in what she's wearing and to feel beautiful in it. And then to base all the other outfits off it. Because I don't
I
honestly,
love that tip.
yes. I think husbands sometimes, hopefully, aren't as opinionated as
Mhm.
what they have to wear, and kids can honestly be bribed and motivated with treats or whatever to just wear an outfit they don't typically wear for an hour or
Oh,
less.
for sure.
All good.
I know. I feel like with the boys, it can be pretty basic. We can kind of figure
Absolutely.
them out. But I have had a couple of pictures where I was like, "Okay, let's just base it around this little girl's dress because I just love it."
It's always a little baby's
Right?
outfit because you're like, oh, they're so cute. But
But I
then
love the
it
idea of the
becomes
mom's outfit because you can
but then
always
it
find a
becomes
cute
yes,
baby
yes.
outfit, right?
Yes, and you absolutely. There will always be an endless amount, so many more options for kids to
Yeah,
just say, "Oh, we just need this one last thing for them," than it is for you as a grown adult to suddenly have to find something that fits good, that looks good, and that you're comfortable in.
yeah.
So, moms
That's the
first all the
best tip.
way.
Oh, my goodness, this is great. I am so due for family pictures. We were due for them right about the time COVID hit. We try to do it
Oh, yeah.
about every year.
Uh-huh.
And then we didn't because things were crazy, and then my daughter left on a mission, so she's not even
Oh,
home for another year, so I'm, like, trying to gear ourselves up for
you wait till
next
she's
year when
home,
we do I
bring
mean,
the
but I
whole
still need to
family
do
to
some
bend,
yeah,
and then it
I
happens.
still
That's
wanna
what you do.
do, like, some things during this year because I don't wanna, like, we're that's it, she's not here, we're not taking pictures of her again, that's not, like but but I do want the next one that we get, there's gonna be such a dramatic difference from the last time we had it's probably gonna be about 3-year difference, which
Yeah,
for us is a long time. A lot
yeah,
has changed with our family in
yeah,
that amount of time, so
yeah.
I wanna do it right this time, so okay, so let's was there anything else that you wanted to add on that?
I think
Different
just the
questions to
purpose
ask?
of that blog post too, and I mean, I don't know that everyone has this like impression when they go to a photographer, but I want all my clients to feel like I was the photographer for them and that they booked with me because they felt connected to how I take pictures and my editing style and the experience that I'm going to offer them. If someone wants like really like I need pictures of everyone standing close together and everyone looking and smiling at the camera for an hour, that I'm not going to be the right person for them because that's absolutely not my style. I will guarantee you everybody looks at the camera for 1 to 2 good pictures, and once I've gotten that, I'm like, "Okay, we're moving on. We have caught that and now it's time to see how everyone interacts, how we all play together, how we have fun together." Um so yeah, I
I
think it's just
love that, so it's
important.
not just stiff the whole time.
Yeah, which I know sometimes people are more run by the price of a photographer, like this works within our budget. But really, if the way somebody photographs is really catches your eye and you feel like looking off their website or reading about them really like connects with you, I think it's absolutely worth the investment. And a lot of photographers too, I offer this as well, is payment plans. I am more than fine to break up a payment. It doesn't all have to be paid in one lump sum. So
That's really good to know because I don't know if anybody's ever really thought about that before.
Yeah, I think sometimes pricing of a they're like, "Whoa, you charge that much?" And obviously too, I don't know that everybody thinks about, like, everything that a photographer does. They think
I
they
know.
just
So
go up and they take it, and then they
let's
just
take our
deliver you
listeners
something.
through because being a podcast editor and doing graphics and all of these things, I totally understand the hours that go
The
into editing
behind the
anything.
scenes.
Yes.
Yes.
So tell me, just time wise, kind of, and then maybe your process of what you do. Why is it that these pictures are so expensive as far as how much it's costing you and your time? And
Okay. I'm not I think, yeah, when people look at, like, my pricing, they're like, "You charge that much just for an hour?" And it's like, let's let's not look at the hour of which I'm just with your family. Let's think about everything that's going on beyond that. So, initially, when I'm getting emails from people, there can still be a lot of back and forth time of me just emailing back and forth, making sure I have a date available, making sure the pricing works, making sure, like the time that they're looking for, that all of that's available to them. Um, and that can already take like several minutes for me to email back and forth with someone. And then from booking, it's sending over contracts. I always send over a family questionnaire that I need them to fill back with info about everybody, so I can come prepared knowing people's names and their ages and interests that they have. And then from there, I spend a lot of time checking out locations for clients. That obviously I don't want my clients to feel like they need to go find somewhere. Unless they come to me and they're like, "This place was super meaningful to me. We would love to
Mhm.
have our pictures done here." Then I'm totally game for that. But if they're just like, "We are fine with whatever," or they say, "We like," I've had clients too that, Central Oregon has a lot of diverse uh, scenery. So we can head up to the mountains and we can have pine trees and like thick greenery and all of that. Or we can head kind of to the desert where you've got like a lot more kind of flat landscape, and it's a lot more tall grass and kind of these like not cactus, but just like lots of shrubs and bushes, but desert kind of style. I'm not a plant person. But then we have some other really cool places nearby. That we have a spot not too far called Smith Rock that resembles a lot of like Zion's National Park
Oh,
and stuff like
cool.
that. Super cool. Um, and there's just a lot of hidden gems around. So someone could come to me and be like, "I like this type of scenery, but I don't like this. Like, do you
Mhm.
have a suggestion in mind?" And if I don't off the top of my head, then I have to get in my car, typically with my kids, and I have to drive around and find something that fits what they're looking for. And that can
Mhm.
take hours. That's gas, that is miles, and that is time that I could be spending doing other things.
For sure.
So that, and then driving to a location, actually going and taking the pictures with them, and that whole process. And then afterwards, um, there's photographers don't lie when they say there's hours that goes into like the post session process of just uploading all your images. I go through and I see what is good and what am I now going to edit, editing all those images, and then I send them all over or send them all back to them. But my process as well, I have found I used to just send over everything. And I actually kind of found that my clients weren't that appreciative of that. It's like, "Oh, I'm going to send you 120 pictures and you're just going to be like, 'Great, thanks.'" And I'm not getting much feedback. Like, "I just sent you a lot of pictures and I edited every single one of them." Like, or I never see them do anything with them, or I never, and I kind of just felt like, well, that stinks. I'm putting in all the time to do this, but it doesn't feel 100% worth it. So each of my packages comes with a specific amount of images that they get. So then when I send it over, they can look through everything and they can pick exactly what their favorites are. And then if they love them so much, they have the option to purchase more pictures.
Mhm.
And that is not wasted time for me.
For sure. Yeah.
That is a huge support to me. And I'm never offended if a client doesn't want to buy extra images, but I actually find that 90% of my clients always buy additional images. um, so yeah, and then after that it comes with, like I want to make sure that I can use those images for future clients to be able to look through and see. So it's blogging those things, it's updating my website, it's putting them on Pinterest, Facebook, all this stuff. So there's so much time.
There's so much
So much
time.
time. Yeah.
So, where are some of the best places we can print pictures? Cause and that's actually how I found you is because you were talking about this when
Oh
the whole
yes.
thing went out about Costco not doing their print shops anymore.
I
And not that I
know.
was always super satisfied with Costco, but it was just easy and I was at Costco,
Costco.
and
We love Costco.
it
I,
was
yes.
fine. Yeah, but it wasn't like these are so amazing, but anyway.
Okay, don't get me wrong, because I'm not here to harp on Costco. My husband, I swear, is like Costco's number one supporter. And one of the greatest perks to moving to Bend was that we literally have a Costco across the street from us.
Oh,
In
that is so
Hawaii, in
convenient.
Hawaii, our closest Costco was an hour and a half.
Oh,
It was
yikes.
like a full day extravaganza to go all the way over there, making sure like you cannot forget anything when you make a Costco trip around those conditions. Like we're not going back. We're not going back for the ground beef. So
And
if
we're
it is
loading up on
forgotten,
everything because we're not coming back
absolutely.
for a while.
Yes. So yeah, Costco just came out and they said maybe it's already happened, but they said this month they're now discontinuing all their printing services. I don't know why or the reasons for that, but um I'm sure my mom will be so upset. She loves using Costco printing, but I think Costco's major thing is it's so convenient and they're probably the best of the one of retail stores.
Right, right. And I
Yes.
agree with that for sure, which is
Yes.
why I was going there.
Yes. But if you're going to print your professional pictures from a retail store, 100% those printers are not, they're not good printing quality. I actually I just did a reel about this, and I have done a blog post about this where I took these adorable pictures of Auden. This was like a few years ago, so it's just her. I had like all the cutout hearts on the back of the wall. She was in this cute little outfit. I was like, oh, we're gonna take these pictures. I'm gonna print them, and then this can be like her little Valentine's card we send out to all the family. Um, I take this adorable picture, edit it. She looked so cute. And then I went to Target to print them. And literally, I mean, she kind of already had a little pink outfit on. Then there's red on the back and everything. It was like they had taken the saturation red slider and pulled it all the way up. Her face looked like she had a horrible sunburn. I was like, what is this? I just paid money for this. Like, so that being said, please don't get your pictures printed from places like Walmart, Walgreens, Target, any sort of
People that
retail
don't
store.
specialize in printing pictures.
Absolutely not. Yes. Yes. Yeah. You don't want the teenager that this is his first job. You don't want to put that kind of pressure on the boy to deliver you back the pictures that are going to hang on your wall now till the next year that you replace them. And it's such a bummer too to think that you would have to pay twice or double because the first time you didn't print them well.
Right.
So I kind of feel like this is how it's going now too. I don't find too many like in-person printers. There's not too many, at least where I live and where I've lived, I haven't found that very often, but there are so many good online professional photo lab services. My top three are Nation Labs Photo. I have pictures all over my house from them, and as long as your photographer sends them in the good sizes that they should be, they will print and they will be beautiful. And you can blow them up gigantic and it will not compromise the quality of the picture at all. MPix, it's MPIX. That's another really good one. I think we did our Christmas cards through them this year and their quality, everything was beautiful. And then Shutterfly, honestly. I know a lot of people do albums through Shutterfly
Yeah.
and stuff.
I've
But
done photo
Shutterfly,
gifts through them before and they've
yes.
been great. Yeah.
Yes. And I think sometimes Shutterfly too gets a bad rap, like, oh, they can be expensive. But those three places throw down discounts all the time. It's like, oh, you're new to our site. Here's a 30% off your first time. Oh, this holiday is coming up. Here's a 50% off. Oh, you're trying to get the Christmas cards before this time frame. Book them or print with us by this day. And now they're, now they're whatever percent off. I constantly find really good deals there, and their prices are really comparable, I feel like, to Costco. So, and then they ship super fast. It comes directly to your door, and
And you
there you
don't
go.
even leave your house. It's so nice.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Yeah.
because who wants to leave home anymore? We're so used to being here. Oh, those are such good tips. Okay, I'm writing all those down so we can throw them in the show notes for anybody that wants to go
Yes.
there. I'll find the links there. So, okay, there's also, I'm going to shift a little bit from pictures and I just want to go back to you and your family a little bit because
Okay.
I think that it's just neat to get to know you and some of the things that you've been through. So, I know that you were sharing some of the struggles that you've been through with motherhood, and you talked a little bit about your son's hearing struggles, and this is a little bit dear to my heart because that grandmother I was telling you that passed away 10 years ago, that
Yeah.
it's her birthday today. She woke up one day and was just deaf in one ear and couldn't hear. And she was like in her 40s, like
Oh,
she was
wow.
pretty young, And so I remember being, we were all like, well, what do we do if all of a sudden she wakes up and she's deaf in the other ear?
Yeah.
How are we going to communicate with her? And so me and my sister and my cousin and my aunt, and I think even my mom a little bit, started dabbling in sign language. And I even did a ton of it in college. I took interpreting classes, and I loved learning about the deaf community. And she went on to get a hearing dog and wrote a book about
Wow.
her hearing dog. I mean, like it. So when I saw that you've had a son with some hearing struggles, I'm like, oh, this is just like close to my heart. So I would love, if you don't mind, just telling your story a little bit about that and how you found it, because I don't know that it's talked about a ton, but there are people that are really going through this and it's really hard.
Yeah. So I did not mention this. So Soren's birth story is crazy. Soren was born at home, unplanned,
Oh my heavens. Oh my
in
heavens.
our Hawaii house in the middle of the night while my daughter's just sleeping across the hall. So his birth, yes, he was born at home. My husband delivered him. Um, he came in less than 45 minutes. So we absolutely were, everybody tells you like, oh, you need to try to wait till the hour mark of having consistent contractions. That literally, I was like, if we ever have more kids, at the start of a contraction, we were headed to the hospital. Like that can never happen again. Um, but yes, he was born at home on our bed, and it took a bit for paramedics and stuff to get to us, as well as and then, okay, so it took a bit for them to get there to us, and then we traveled in an ambulance to the hospital. So he had been kind of without getting all his vitals done. Um, and all the other things. I don't even know all the stuff that they do, but that they would do right after a baby's born, right?
Yeah,
So he
their
went a
APGAR
bit.
scores and all those different kinds of
Exactly.
things,
So he
right?
went a bit longer without getting any of that kind of stuff. And it wasn't till like this isn't even stuff that dawned to me because my daughter just passed with flying colors. Like they don't tell you that your child does pass the hearing test. They just only tell you if they don't. And so when we were getting ready to leave, they were like, well, he hasn't passed his hearing test yet. I was like, oh, I didn't even know you'd take a hearing test for my son. So we could not leave until he passed that. And then he wasn't passing it. So they said, okay, we're going to bring you back in like a week and see if maybe it's clogged up or, whatever. So we came back a week later. Yeah. And it's like, I'm trying to even remember. It's like they put these tiny little earplugs in their ears, and the earplugs have these wires attached that attach to this little monitor that recognizes like their eardrums or nerves inside the ear
Right.
recognizing sound. And his left side always passed, right side never passed. And so from there, I'm just kind of like, I don't really like know what this means. Like, is my child deaf? He definitely seems to react to sounds. Like his sister's plenty loud. Um, so from there, and Hawaii is wonderful, but Hawaii's healthcare is not great. Hawaii is great in so many other aspects, but just to be like The hospital I delivered at doesn't have a NICU. And um, just to like put things in perspective. So from there, we also felt like we were struggling to find like a really good pediatrician and stuff like that that had any kind of experience with this. And a lot of, just like I was talking about with my husband's scholarship, like there is 100% a lack of healthcare workers in Hawaii. Um, and so then you kind of end up with these people that, not to say that all medical workers aren't great there, but it just felt like we just kind of kept finding these mediocre ones that just were kind of like, well, yes, it is what it is. And it's like, well, not being able to hear is like a big deal. Like, so at 6 weeks, we had to fly to another island where they could do more intensive studies and stuff. I It was just crazy the things we had to do in order for that, like that first test to work. He's 6 weeks old and he was not allowed to eat or sleep 4 hours prior to the test.
Oh, brother.
Like literally, and his test was at 7 a.m. We are up in an Airbnb at like 3 in the morning, keeping our newborn awake, wailing, screaming, like awful. But then the idea there is you bring them in, then you feed them, they'll eat and instantly fall asleep. And then they stick all these things on them that then regulate and can kind of detect all of the sound waves and whatever. And from there, all we found out was just that he has hearing loss out of his right ear. He can't hear high pitched frequencies. There's certain letters that will be difficult for him to hear. But there still is like, they didn't even have, they did not have the medical equipment or the testing to be able to even tell us like what caused this, how severe is this, any of that. So that was basically all we had. And we flew back. And then from there, once you're diagnosed with something like that, like you qualify for certain services. So we were involved in this one like nonprofit that provided for him, um, it would have provided like speech therapy, things like that. And kind of right about the time we finally got into all of this for services for him, COVID hit. So then we were not going to be able to see anyone in person, not going to be able to get additional testing done. And actually, the audiologist that we saw was on a different island and would come over every like 4 to 6 months. She was a geriatric specific audiologist, not even a pediatric.
Oh my goodness.
So Soren did not get a hearing aid till almost like 7 months old. Um, and really all they told us as well is just he will probably be, because of this, he will probably be delayed with motor skills and all that stuff, speech development, all of that. He'll probably be delayed about like 4 to 6 months. And that's been pretty accurate for Soren. But we've also, I don't know if it's directly related to the hearing, but he's had a lot of oral motor issues as well. He puked so much as a baby. It was so hard to keep food down. And he had big food aversions when we started with solid foods. And we've always just, I feel like we're finally coming out of it actually. And this has now been because we've been able to be going to occupational therapy regularly here. But we would have huge choking scares and bad, bad stuff. So, anyways, all of that, basically, we had all these issues. And kind of when it came time to, just in the middle of COVID, our scholarship was coming to an end. We just thought, we cannot be here long term. This will not work if we want our son to be able to succeed in life. Like,
Yeah.
we need to have better services, and we need to be able to see doctors that are gonna not that our doctors didn't care, but that are gonna, like
I have a lot of experience with
yes,
this exact thing.
yes.
Yeah.
So we found, my husband took a job transfer to Bend, and since we've been here, Soren we've been really involved in speech therapy, also occupational therapy, like I said. where they worked a lot on his eating and swallowing techniques and stuff like that. So we're teaching a lot of sign language in our house. Though, I feel like we're really hopeful. We're right at kind of, there's a lot of babbling out of him. There's not really words or anything, but we feel really hopeful that, because it is only one ear as well, we've heard that it can, like, the other ear can kind of compensate, or it can kind of even itself out. And actually, so we have an appointment later today. We had a CT scan done last week where they took a picture of his inner ear. And from there, hopefully we can see if there's damage inside of his ear, anything like that, because there is options also for like surgery, or I don't know if there's medication, but I've also heard of shots or other things. There will be, once we can finally figure out what it is and what the cause of it is, then we can know, like, okay, these are the steps we need to take. Because it's been a lot of just back and forth, us just trying to figure out, like,
figuring it out.
where did it come from? How do we make this better? So, but honestly, Soren is, you would never even know by how wonderful, and just, he's such a happy, well-tempered little guy, and just, he's wonderful, and truly he is the best addition to our family. But we also just want to make sure that we get him everything that he needs so he can thrive in his little life and be able to go out and conquer and do what he wants. So yeah, it's been a lot of juggling, it's been a lot of appointments, a lot of, back and forth with medical professionals. And we kind of feels like hopefully now we're getting to a point where we'll start to get answers and we can start to figure out what we need to do from here. So yeah, he's 19 months now, and he's got his little hearing aid. I feel like we have a hearing aid missing like 4 or 5 times a week. Next big business venture is a tracking device on a hearing aid. That there's nothing
maybe
more
one of our listeners will be inspired to get that together.
Yeah, there's nothing more terrifying than thinking this thousands of dollar little thing is inside your ear and you can rip this out and chuck it anywhere at any moment. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing that story, because I know that that's kind of like close to the heart when it's stuff like that about your kids. But I just hope that you sharing that might help somebody that's listening that is either going through, and it might not be hearing related, but maybe some other health struggle where you're just constantly searching. So I really appreciate that. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you have so many neat things to do with your kids and places to be, but I want to tell everybody where they can find you. Where can we find your blog, and also find you for any photo tips, or even a photographer if you're living in Bend, Oregon?
So everything you can find of me is my first and last name, Bailey Makaimoku Photo. And that's BaileyMakaimokuPhoto.com, or it's that on Instagram, Facebook. And we'll
link that up in the show notes so that people can go straight over there.
Awesome. Yeah.
So good. Bailey, I've loved getting to know you. So fun. I'm super excited. I need to go find some outfits that I like so I know how to dress everybody else. This is so great. Thank you. Okay, friends, if you love this podcast, share. That's all I can beg and ask, is go ahead and share this with a friend. If you are listening through your podcast app, make sure you head over and rate and review this podcast. That really helps us to be able to find more guests because they see that we're rated well. So that really helps us so much, and love to hear your comments on there. If you have not been over to our website, helpingofhappiness.com, run over there and check out all the cool family recipes that we have. We've got travel tips. We have lots of home and family hacks, and it's also the house for our podcast archive. We'd love to have you visit us over there. And if you'd like to sign up for our newsletter, we have a weekly newsletter that is filled with new recipes and lots of different mom hacks. And we would love so much to be able to be in contact with you every week and give you so many free resources like our 3 weeks of dinner fun, our newest thing that's in our resource library, which you get a password for when you sign up for our newsletter, is our Louisiana recipes. So we've got a whole little section of Louisiana recipes that would be really fun for Mardi Gras coming up next week. So we've got beignets and a Cajun style sheet pan, croissant French toast with blueberry sauce, so many yummy things. So make sure you sign up for that. It's just at helpingofhappiness.com. You can't miss it. It's also linked in our show notes. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for being with us. We love having you so much.